Welcome to Beamovation. My name is Noluthando, also known as the advocate of self-love. Today, I'm bringing you yet another exciting, insightful, and amazing interview. This girl, this lady, this woman is jack of all trades. She does it all, and I love it so much for her, and I love it because it inspires me to do well. It inspires me to push. Tshoolo Peeters is a fitness guru. She is a corporate lady. She is a mother of three. She is a wife. She is a businesswoman. She's a hustler. Tshoolo does it all. Welcome to the Beamovation podcast, Tshoolo.
Thank you so much for having me. Can I say Black Ace Beamovation?
You can say whatever you'd like.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Tshoolo, I've introduced you the way that I know you because you do it all, Tshoolo. But please, may you introduce yourself.
I don't know if I'll top that, but so I always say I'm a mother of three beautiful boys. Mm-hmm. I'm a corporate woman, like you said.
Yes.
And I call myself a FitPreneur now because I think I've started as my self-fitness, which now expanded into different aspects of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So it's so hard to just segment them, so I call it FitPreneur.
Yes.
I am also, or was a Mrs. SA Top 10 finalist, and I also wore a fitness and wellness hat, simply because I wanted to carry the message of mental health, and we'll touch on that as well.
Yeah.
Since I suffer anxiety, and I felt that our communities needed that.
Yes.
So that is basically in a nutshell, if we can put it that way. But I'm also a content creator.
I know, a very great
and that's
one.
where the journey started. Actually,
So this person that you are now, FitPreneur, right? I'm saying it right.
Yes,
FitPreneur. You molded this, and I've seen parts of it come to life.
Yeah.
Was this always the plan, Tshoolo?
No.
So what was the plan?
So and I love your question, right? Because in my understanding or in my mind or the way we were brought up, I was supposed to be by foundation, I'm a systems engineer. Started computer engineering, and I've got a BTech in IT, went to university, corporate girl, and I was structured like that. But there's always been one thing that has been constant to me, and that is working out. And like I say, I didn't realize it was a medicine to me. I was just doing it, and everybody was just asking, how do you do it?
Yes.
And eventually, the journey began, and people, when lockdown came, people asked me to create a group. We started online fitness. Now, most people are not online. So then the journey then expanded internationally, and I love it because with the online, we touched international countries. And now we've started a movement called Activate SA, where we are taking fitness to the world, not just in South Africa. So it wasn't the plan. Hence, I always say it is a purposeful journey. And each time I hold it back, even the corporate space, I'm a wellness ambassador now. God just taps on and says, this is where we need to go. And I just execute.
You follow And what I want to really touch on, because so many people look at other people. Like if someone was to start looking at you today, they're seeing you doing these amazing things. You've got this great following. You've got a great body. You seem to have it together, right? Not knowing where the actual journey started or where this brand that you've built started. So did it start with you enjoying working out? Was this something that you just naturally just started liking to do?
I think so. Because I think I would say fitness is my medicine, my life. And for me, it was an escape, like any other person will say with their passion. But little did I know that I am building a brand, and throughout, it has evolved.
So you go into fitness, you like it, it's your medicine. It's something that you enjoy doing. Now, when did it click that I'm building something here? This is a brand. This is a platform. When did that click for you?
2020. I think COVID happened. People were stuck. I had people saying, hey, we need you. And it's because you've been consistent, right? And if there's one person who will carry us through this journey of like enclosure, whatever it was that we were going through, it's basically you. And I think the first or the second 21-day challenge that we had, I had testimonials of people saying, you've helped me with my diabetic.
Yes.
I had anxiety, and whenever I do this little dance, because my fitness is not boring.
Yes, yeah, I know.
It's fun. So people will say, I actually tap into your YouTube or your TikTok and I feel so much better. I think one thing that touched me is I did a corporate wellness at my work, and I had a lady who had tears, like first time seeing me, and yeah, she just cried and said, I don't know what you did on stage, but I wasn't planning to come here because I was depressed and wasn't feeling well. Just after what you did, I'm feeling so revived. So in that, I was like, no man, there's something here.
Something, yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that is incredible. Because when someone comes to you with that kind of feedback,
yes,
it also happens to me that you actually think, okay, let me be serious, because if someone is coming with such an serious issue, I need to be serious. Tshoolo, when I met you back in the day, right? we're selling stuff, we're in network marketing and whatnot. I remember looking at you and I was like, this lady is so prim and proper. She's poised, she's got it together. She's a family woman. And I know that there is a young girl, young person, sometimes not even young. Sometimes someone out there at home is thinking, I don't have my life together. Or they're looking at you and they think, she must be from a well-off family. She must be, from a family that has it all together. That's why her life has managed to work out like that.
Yeah.
Can you share a bit of your background, where you're from?
Okay, girl from Soweto. I think I love this story because I grew up in eight locations in Soweto, because we never really had, me and my mom, raised by a single parent.
Yes.
We never really had a home as abantu bazoshuthi.
Yes.
Ekhaya,
yes.
We were, what do you call it?
Moving from one place to another.
And yeah, so life was tough, I can tell you that, but we conquered. I think my mother is a very strong woman, very resilient, and I don't even know how I finished school. Like, when you're just like, I don't know how.
Yeah.
The beauty about visions is that you see it. I knew that I would finish university. How? I don't know. I knew that I would have a house, a beautiful home.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I knew.
Yeah.
And I had to work with whatever we had. And yeah, doors opened, got bursaries, studied. I think determination and just believing in whatever God is showing you at the time helped me carry through. So it's not all glory, really.
Yes.
And since then, I always believe in whatever I want. I put the effort and the work.
Yeah.
Determined, I don't sleep. Like, if I have to stay at night to get what I want and look at the week and say, I've achieved that, I do it. Yeah.
And you do so much. Being a mother of 3, I know when we say we do so much,
as mom now.
right?
Yeah.
When you do so much, and how do you do it is the question. Because again, this podcast, this platform is really about educating. It's about empowering. It's about making sure that, people know that regardless of where you are, regardless of where you come from, it's all about who you want to sculpt, who you want to build, that vision that you said. And how do you do it though? How do you be a mom of 3 and a wife and corporate and FitPreneur? Literally, if you can share.
To be honest, and I'll be very honest with you, support is important, right? We balance it well with my person.
Yes.
When I'm doing something, he'll be looking after the kids. And the one thing, though, to be very practical, is that you need to be clear about your goals, right? I always say, and these are the things that we learned in the tea when we were selling tea, your goals don't have an excuse.
Yes.
They are waiting for you. And I would say not as much, but when I started, I would start like January, like we have goals. This is what I want to achieve for Tshoolo, for the kids. And what we do now, which is beautiful because I see it in my boys, is that at the end of the year, we reflect. We look at what have you accomplished?
Yes.
And what is it that you want to accomplish next year? As young as Jonah is, like my last born, he knows that, okay, this is what my marks I want, you know, and I don't force it on the child. Like, you can choose. It doesn't have to be really academic. Who are you? You know, and the moment you find who you are at a young age, and it's tough to find who you are, I must say, because that's the way you'll open up more doors, because you'll be authentic in the journey that you are traveling.
How long? Oh, sorry, you were still
going on. No, it's fine. It's just, I just wanted to say, it's the planning.
Yes.
Being clear about your goals. And making the time. Yeah.
How old were you, if you can remember? How old were you when you knew who Tshoolo Peeters is? How old were you? Because again, going back to the engagement I have out there, I get messages. I don't know who I am. I don't know who I should be. I don't even know what I should say when I pray to God, all those things. So, and I want different answers from different individuals so that the audience at home can pick. So how old were you when you...
I think it's an evolution, hey? Like, there's always a phase where I think I know who I am. And then God just elevates me to the next phase. And I always say, then it's like I'm a new version, improved version. But to be clear and not shaken, I think it's like 2 years ago, honestly. Because initially, yes, I was Tshoolo, running, doing whatever. If someone says this, let's try that, we tried. Now I'm very firm. And it's only like 2-3 years ago, just after COVID, like I said, because I also thought, and that's the thing about purpose, right? Guys, I don't know if it makes sense, but you often get rejected in places that you want to be selected. One of the journeys is say you get to the top 10, you ask yourself, how did I not go there? And the answers come after the journey. As you evolve, you understand why you had to go a different journey, you know? And I always say, whenever I see a rejection, I know that's not for me, and that's not going to serve who I am. And it's okay. You're going to be disappointed, but it's a self-finding journey, and God is just redirecting you. I'll say that. So yeah, it's only, I'll say 2 years ago where I'm like, now you can come and say, and I know this, if it's not for me, God is not going to give me, and that's okay.
I love that. I love the fact that you are so honest and candid about the fact that it took you some time to fully know who you are, because especially with this young generation, and I love it for them because they are conscious, right? So they are the ones that ask the questions, how do I know who I am? I don't know who I am. But then Tshoolo gives you an idea that sometimes it's an evolution. And as you grow, as you do, as you become, you start seeing exactly who you are. So there's not really a need to put yourself under that much pressure if you haven't figured it out.
Yes, and also tap into what is it that you really love, you know, and tap into it more. Because I also find that with being authentic, you will find the people that, you know, you associate with. And eventually you build in yourself, right? And I think the other thing is tapping into, like, there's always a dream when you were young. There's always that there's signs. There were signs. It's just to ignore them. Right?
We do. We do.
And then eventually, like, but this I had, but just ignored.
One of the things that I find fascinating about what you've done with your brand and your work is how you've taken your passion and what I can call, for lack of a better description, hustle, and brought it into corporate space. Like,
no, guys.
How?
It's scary.
How did that magic happen? Because it's magic, to be honest, you know. I mean, we all know that corporate isn't so embracive and welcoming of new ideals and concepts, but you're doing it.
And it found me, that story is, it needs another podcast.
No, please tell us, share with us.
I was in depression at that time. You won't see it, right? But I felt, this is it, I don't want to be in the corporate space anymore. And I was like, you know, planning your way out. And even so, you know, when you're like, I'm just doing a tick-box and I'm you know, doing my TP. And then I had, and I'm going to say it, I had a friend, it's not a friend, it's our MC label from work. He was seeing what I was doing outside. And he's like, but why are you not sharing yourself with us? We don't know you. right? And why do you have to be different when you're in a corporate space? Because, I mean, we need fitness, we need this, we need that. Yes, and he forced me into the first interview at work. I was not comfortable at all.
Yeah.
I remember I had to be put in a corner and be told that you're going to have to do it,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's funny how now whenever there's something, I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to give myself or share myself with corporate. And also it's the things that we put to ourselves. It's not that they said, can't do this, can't do that.
Yeah.
It's the things that we put and what do you call it, our opinions or the stories that we are making.
Yes.
Nothing of the sort, because the moment I shared myself, like the rest is history.
Magic.
Yes.
Magic just happened. And it literally was just...
No, it
erupted into something beautiful. I'm so proud of you and I'm happy for you, because I think so many people dream of bringing their other talents into the corporate space, but then either they are scared or they are fearful, and then someone looking at you, right? Tshoolo is confident, Tshoolo is fit, Tshoolo is beautiful. But you've just mentioned that you also have moments of depression, or you had a time where you felt
through the storm. And I think through the storm, that's when now, if you can go past that storm, I don't think you're unstoppable. I always say that. I even said it at work. I'm like, the moment you know that I've passed this, because at that time, and I think that's why I say fitness is medicine for me.
Yes.
It was my only thing that I was doing. And that's what you see. You see the other Tshoolo being revived, right?
Yes.
And someone said to me, you look like you have like 3 personalities.
Yeah.
Because in a corporate space, you're like this. You go on stage and then you're like, hey, I don't know this person.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I had to do, find a balance between the corporate Tshoolo and the outdoor Tshoolo to make sure that, the two can connect
Be in
and work.
sync, yeah.
Yeah, and I think working for a company like, and I'd say Vodacom, honestly, they embrace talent.
Yes, that's amazing.
Yes, they embrace talent. If you have something you want to offer, the culture does allow you to.
Yes.
It's just personal choice, which I was holding back on.
Yeah. And I want to go to the exchange of your colleague that said, but why are you not sharing yourself with us? And so many people, I think that there's the whole culture now that at work you can't have a personality.
Yes.
And at work you have to shut everything that is either your personal style, your personal everything. There's that whole culture which is now on the rise. And I completely do not blame people that say, I come to work, do what I do, and I leave, right? So for you, where then were you able to find the proper balance and the proper mix to say, I'll still bring in passion, Tshoolo, but at the same time, I'm also here to do what I'm supposed to do. And
that's very important, because I think you can be misunderstood as a person who's just doing your thing.
Yes.
And you forget. Equally so, I'm very good at what I do, if I have to say that.
Yes, absolutely.
In my product management role, I know that I'm good, but because now you've exposed yourself as this fit queen, as they call, like, oh yeah, that's our fitness person, that's our ambassador.
Yes.
When it comes to work and projects, sometimes you can see that people are reluctant to give you because they are not sure if you'll be able to execute, right?
Yes.
But like I said, and you said it's magic, I say it's God, because equally so, you are excelling. Yes, that in such a way that another person will say, I want to work with that girl.
Yes.
And so I think it's just, you need to be very consistent with your work, that you don't drop the ball.
Okay.
And as people, we are human, we do drop the ball.
Yes.
Right? And I always say that it's also equally important that people understand that as much as you are saying you're human, another person also understands that we are all human. And I think the balance comes in just doing what you do it well and do it right. And then when it comes to your passion as well, you do it well. It just works. So that
works out.
Yeah.
I love that. I know that you mentioned God. You said that, you let God lead the way. And again, bringing it back to the audience, because this is all for them, really. So many people struggle. One, with having a conversation with God. Two, with taking direction, even from God. How involved is God in your life?
I think since I was young, I'm not a person who, when I say that I don't read, I'm not a person who reads the Bible like, like
religiously
no.
or with the routine.
But I've always felt his presence. I've always knew, like I said, I don't know how. I knew that this I will do, but I didn't know how. And then with growth, with spiritual connection and with growth, I then understood that he's always present, because there's journeys in my life where I look at, I'm like, how did I survive that? And one of the things that I've also picked up with my spiritual journey is I'll be going through trouble or going through a storm, whatever, and I'll have a hymn in my head that aligns to whatever I'm going through. Like, you end up singing, you'll be driving, be still and know that I'm God. I'm like, how did that happen? I think when I did my Mrs. Essay journey, I remember looking for a sponsor and I couldn't find. And I had a friend who found a sponsor, and we were supposed to both get that sponsor. I was so stressed. I got home and that song played in my head. I knew that it will be okay. 2 days I got mine. So that's why I'm like, it's not like I pray like
religiously and
but I can tell you that I hear him. And there's situations where I know I'm going to surpass, same as my last Activate Essay event. I didn't want to do it, but I knew I had to do it. Sponsorships, they pull off. And I'm like, I'm gonna cancel. But there were signs like that were coming that I need to execute this event, and it was beautiful. So
how are you able to be so conscious and to be able to see that because this thing of signs, it's the second time you're mentioning it, right? And I completely understand and I can completely relate, because for you to be in alignment with God as a person, you need to know when he's communicating with you. And he does it differently for different people. But there's also a state of being that you must be to be able to see. Like someone could walk past. If you're not clued up or conscious, you may not realize that that's a sign from God. How do you keep yourself conscious and clear to know that now this was a sign from God?
It's different to everyone, right? One of the friends of mine had said to me, because I was going through, like when you're in a crossroad, corporate is doing well, TP is doing well, like I don't know what I'm going to do, I need to move. And this person says, and it's exactly what you're saying, said to me, pray to God and tell him exactly right what you want, and tell him to give you like what you say, and be clear to say, give me these signs, right? And I think it did do something, because whenever you like, if you, like the easy example said, if I want a man and if it's a right man, give me red roses. Not necessarily the guy must come with red roses, but maybe somewhere you drive and you see the red roses, you know, something like that, right? And she said to me, I think personally, because I followed you, you might have missed some seasons, and it's because you are not aware, right? There have been seasons where I could see that this girl is expanding to wherever, but you've held back, right? It's because of fear, right? But once you understand where he's taking you, and you are telling him, this is what I want, eventually, it happens.
It happens. And how do you then handle the times when God says, no, I'm not doing it?
It's tough.
Because he does. We know, true. He does. You'll be praying for hours and he's like, nope.
I sometimes even scream in the car, like, hey, bruh. we need to move. Like I speak to God like I speak to you.
Of course.
I drive and I'm like, aye, bruh. If this is not happening, you need to shift the needle somewhere for me. You know? It's just you be disappointed, but you pray. And it takes months. It can even take years for you to be in the prayer. But I think his promises are,
they stay clear, right?
And when you get the answers, you're like, okay, now it's enough. I know you are bringing them on because you've waited for so long. It becomes so overwhelming as well.
You've waited for so long, it becomes overwhelming. There's someone out there who's building something, pursuing something, after something, and they've been at it for 3 years. And they're thinking, it's not going to happen. If that person was sitting or standing in front of Tshoolo, what would you tell them to say, this is how long it took me?
Yeah, it's been a journey. It's 2017, I'd say.
Yeah.
We started tea in 2017 actually.
2017, correct,
I mean, besides me being, the other stuff is just me working out.
Yes.
But it's the self-finding journey, how many years? 2017 to 2024.
Yeah.
Where we started, I think my journey really, yes, I know I said the 2020 for the business, but what you said with the packet of tea, that's where actually the journey started. Because now you were a child who was just going to work, and then suddenly you are shifted from thinking about a routine, where now you are being told, this is life, this is how you can grow outside corporate, outside. And I always say the streets are the greatest teacher, right?
Yeah.
You go to the streets, you sell. Eventually, the resilience of being rejected started there, right?
Yes.
Where now you're like, okay, I can see I'm losing my friends, I'm losing my family, I'm losing because I'm selling a packet of tea.
Yes.
But that becomes from one thing to the next, and eventually, like, you know what? I don't care. I see this vision, right?
Yeah.
And I'm really going to go through it. So how many years? 2017, 2024?
It's six, 7 years, actually.
And and then going through back to corporate, hoping that like you're getting a sponsor where you are being supported, and it was also another rejection. But the beauty about the rejection there is that had I taken, like sometimes have you taken that opportunity at the time, you wouldn't be where I am today, because then you would be building a brand for someone else, but not for you.
Yes.
When you are being elevated now, it's you.
Yes.
It's your brand. You know, and that's why I say some of the things make sense with time.
And how does that feel? To know that it's you, it's your brand that you've built from a vision that you've had in your mind, this identity that you thought, yes, I know I am like this now, but that Tshoolo, that's the Tshoolo that I'm building.
Yes. It feels good. I actually now post myself, I'm like, I'm proud of you. It really does.
Yes.
I never did that before. You know, I'd look at myself, self-doubt a lot. And yes, whenever I look at my pictures, I'm like, I don't think that's me. You know, the last one now, recently, the Afro Royal MC event that I did, I was like, I don't think that is me. I keep on looking at that whole profile. I'm like, no, man. I don't know. And to me, I always say to God, you need to show off with me.
Yes.
You know, because I feel it in me, but I can't do it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I always say to him, like, can you just show your image within me, right? And when those things happen, I'm like, this is what I said. And he's actually doing it.
It's done.
And those are the side. That's why I'm saying those are the things that you're like, I prayed for this.
Yes.
You know, it just didn't come the way I thought it would come. But it is coming that way. And recently, I was selected as a Trailblazer Leadership Award at work.
Yeah.
That was another sign.
Congratulations.
Because I was saying, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what you're doing, because it's not even work related.
Yes.
It's sports.
Hence
I'm saying there's always signs.
Yes.
You are there, you're a product manager. You are elevated for leadership that you are doing, you know, beyond your 9 to 5. And I look at myself, I'm like, he's saying, you said I must show off.
I'm doing it. But also, you are ready for, you show up, you take action,
that
right?
Is true.
Because at the end of the day, we can pray and pray and pray. I mean, even the word of God says that faith without works is nothing, has no results. So you then say to God, show off with me, show off with me. But
hard.
You take the opportunity.
Hard.
Yes, you do.
Like,
you work very hard.
Guys, what are you doing now?
You work very hard.
I do. And I love it. Like it's naturally in me. You know, I really enjoy being present. I really enjoy giving myself.
Yes.
If I can make a difference in whatever, I am always willing and keen to do, you know.
So look, share with us, like, if we can just take us into your brain. And I like asking this because, you know, success and the challenges, or the challenges and the obstacles versus where you end up, we never really get a picture. We just know that, oh, it was tough and then I made it. But if you were to actually, even if you could, give practical examples of what you do. For example, you said that the last event, which was the MC exercise, when you thought about it, you were like, there's no way I'm going to do this. But then how did you end up doing it? What were the things you were telling yourself? Or what were the things that you did? And I ask this deliberately because so many times, like I said, the connect between when it happened or the great thing that you did and the challenge, there's always that disconnect where no one really tells us exactly. But I want my guests to say, I meditated for 2 days, or I prayed, or I fasted, because it then gives the next person a sense of a new concept, a sense of a new thing that they can do when they are faced with that self-doubt and that fear. Because doubt, fear, feeling imposter syndrome, it happens to all of us.
It does, yeah.
So what do you take yourself through? What are the things or the exercises or activities you follow through?
So I think we've been prepared, man. Since you started the journey, I think as a coach, as a fitness coach, I'm there to inspire and motivate. I speak a lot.
Yes.
But like I said, I never thought it can transition to something like that, right? What I would say is luck is preparedness, right? You prepare.
Preparation.
Yes. And then my quote always says, stay prepared, because when your opportunity comes, you are ready.
Yes.
When you are going there and executing,
yes,
you are just revising, because you've been prepared. And now the other thing that I say, or the few days that I go, I say, please show up in me the way you would wish for me to speak to whoever or to engage with whoever.
So this is your request to God.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I speak like that, please can you increase in me so that I can speak the way you'd want me to and engage the crowd the way you'd want me to. One of the things that people call me is that energy bun, and that comes naturally. Hence I say luck is preparedness, because it's not something that I started yesterday. When I saw the request, I was like, I'm ready.
Yes.
I've been ready.
Yes.
The only thing that will hold me back is fear, and I'm not going to allow that.
You're not going to allow fear.
And I've allowed it so many times in my life where you miss out on opportunity because you're like, this is someone. There's a lot of events like that I went through where they give me a gig.
Yes.
And a huge one.
Right.
And I'm like, maybe I should call Uta.
Yes, call somebody else.
And then I call, a queen from somewhere.
Yes.
And then I'll call them.
Yes.
Right?
And you've never called me. So
no, it wasn't MC. It's more like
something fitness and fitness space.
I'll call, and then trust me, day before I get you cancel. The morning I get another cancellation. I get there, I'm alone. What does that tell you? It was yours, right?
Yes.
I've had events like that where I'm like, okay, I get it. I'll be on stage then.
Because you're trying to run away from your greatness.
It's like you're forcing me. And I got there and I'm worried because I've informed people that, I'm bringing my squad, I'm bringing this person and this person. I get there and these people are not there. And they're like, but we wanted you. We want, really, this was you said you'll bring other people.
What was causing you to run from your greatness?
Because I don't think I'm enough alone. You're still having, it's imposter, like you said, right? And the people believe that you will do it, but it's just you. And one of the things that I'm always, the online and the physical presence is not the same. I can be wild and online
and free,
but now when it's supposed to do something that big, you're like, hey, I'm not sure.
You need a squad.
I need people. And then most of the time there'll be instances where people don't show up and I have to take on. Right? And I've learned that, okay, I get it. Like I said, it's the science. He's always showed me like, this is yours.
This is you.
I think one of them, I actually have a picture of it where it was Mandela Day and I have my hand up with the mic on. And it's written, it's in your hands. That day, everybody cancelled. And I got there and I saw the picture on Twitter, because that's what they posted on Twitter. And I knew, like, okay, from now on, I understand when you give me a gig, I must believe that I've called you there so that you can serve my people. Not that you must call other people. They called you. They didn't say Tshoolo and squad, right? Yeah, so, it is that.
And that's almost like, in a way, passing off. In Zulu, we say, "Udlulisa inhlanhla zakho." Directly translated, you're passing off your good luck to other people because it's you who was called, but you think, no, I'm not good enough. So you'd rather call other people. So no more of that, right?
No, I don't do it now. I'm actually very, my last gig, I made sure I dressed up. I had a tail on. I was like, I'm going full on. Didn't even call anybody to do. I was like, no, I'm going in, and it was beautiful. So, I think, and the moment you step on it, because you want to do it, like I say, show up in me the way you'd want, and I show up,
Identity is very closely linked to image. And image is part of fitness.
Yes.
How big of a role has how you look physically and even externally in terms of your dress code impacted, or how much of a role does it play when it comes to how the world receives you? Because we have opinions online where people think, as long as you're good at what you do, or why should I stress myself about looking a certain way? It's all about me being there and whatnot. How big of a role does your image in totality play in how you're received?
We always say be a product of a product, right?
Yes,
For me to come and I think it's changing with fitness, right? Because you're getting different types of fitness where we're not just working out for the physical, but body, mind, and soul. But for me, I think it's very critical that I play the part, because in a way it taps onto a mother who's sitting there and is like, I'm not going to take care of myself. But they look at me, they say, she has 3 boys, she's got to work, but she's managing to keep the body the way she does, right? And it means I can do it. And I think even so, it also goes to our day-to-day. That you can make time for the things that you want. You can make time for the body that you want, and challenge yourself to eat right. So I think it is very important, personally for me, as a brand. And I always get the summer bodies all year. I do lose like my definition from time to time, but it never goes drastic where you're like, what happened now? And it's also because I'm consistent and I don't even work too hard for it, right?
I get it. So your image does impact how the world receives you. Please try. Take care of yourself.
You have to.
Right?
Yeah, and you feel good as well, right?
Definitely. I want to take you to motherhood. You're a mom of boys. Those energy requirements, I can only imagine. I've got 1 boy, but it always feels like, this is a lot, right? And I know that there is a very real conversation online, and I also brought this up with my other guests where I said that there are women who say they don't want to be moms, and I respect that. There are women who say, I want to be a mom, and I respect that. But if we were to bring it into this room, what does motherhood do for you?
Yeah, it's a it's a sense of greater purpose. For me, I feel like my souls are living outside. I see my kids as not personally a version of myself, but I've brought a soul into this world, and I need to nurture it until it understands. And I feel that, like you asked me about the years of self-finding, I feel that it's very important for my boys to understand themselves at a very young age, so that they will grow up and enjoy life. Because I think if you get yourself very early, you are able to branch into whatever it is that you were meant to be. So I'm playing that purposeful journey, and I'm not dictating to my kids. I'm molding them to be the greatest version of themselves. And I think that for me is very critical. That's why whenever I start an interview, I said I'm a mother of 3 beautiful boys. And it's been like that, because I see them all in different characters, and I embrace it. I engage with them to say, what is it that you want? Like it's like I have a conversation with the time. It's not like, hey, we're gonna do this. We engage with the boys, because I feel that it's important for me for them to get themselves at a very young age.
So motherhood, you would say, is definitely part of your identity.
Yes.
It informs certain decisions and certain things that you actually embark on.
Yeah.
That is incredible, because again, so many people are like, what is the point of motherhood? And that's why I'm saying I bring this to the table to discuss it, because for anyone who thinks, okay, motherhood is this or motherhood is that, you then get an idea of what motherhood does, even for other people. Because one of my guests said that motherhood has taught me to be a better person.
Yes.
You know, it has taught me to even be more aspirational, because my son or my children, they don't care if I've got 2 rents.
Yes.
They want what they want.
And they also play, because I don't know, we didn't touch on this, but when I keep on going back to fitness as a medicine, one of the things about anxiety is that sometimes you lose a sense of presence, because you start to overthink.
Yeah.
And those boys are the ones who will tap into you to say,
and
we are here.
Back. Yes.
Yes. So they played that part to me as well, where I was like, yo, I'm losing it. And this one will be like, I want food.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm hungry. I'm sick. Yes.
Yes. Then you have to just tap onto the present. Then you realize, actually, I was just overthinking and being all over. This is the moment and this is the present. Yeah.
How do you not let your anxiety get the best of you? Because I think all of us as people, we've got those moments, those things, those dips, whether it's anxiety, depression, being overwhelmed, just feeling just like you want to shut down. And to a certain degree or level, it is normal, because we are human beings. We've got highs and we've got lows, right? But then there are those moments where you see that this is now getting the better of me. How do you work around it? What do you do actually?
Yeah, and it's the reason why I started Activate, because I just felt that in our culture, we are not speaking or understanding what we are feeling.
Yes.
And I'm going to bring an issue, and it's not it's not to be too nasty.
Yes.
I think I was blessed to have rough, because we've come from different cultures.
Yes, and backgrounds.
And when I was going through what you were saying, where it was now extreme, and I'm like, no, this is not normal. You know, he just said to me, I can't help you. You need to see someone.
Yes.
You need to go to a psychologist and speak to them, because now whatever you're going through, I can't help you. And when I went for my first session, I was like, I don't have to come back again, because this lady said exactly what I was feeling. And I'm like, you know, this is what you go through, and then you go through that, and then I'm like, oh, so you understand. I didn't know that there was like your mental, like what do you call it, the brain goes through different phases and stuff like that, and then you go through from 0 to 100, as they call it. And then the next thing you are panicking, and whatever you are going through,
everything starts falling apart.
And I felt like, had he not been there, I think you guys would have taken me to, a mental institution, because it was extreme. But my psychologist said it wasn't that extreme. Because after the first session, I'm like, now I understand. So when the feelings come, I'm able to say, okay, I am overthinking. You self-talk, and then you're fine. And I think it's very important to carry that message, because there's a lot of us who mistaken anxiety, you see our people going through the most. And you know that this is mental illness, but we don't address it. The next thing we know, it's gone through. You
spiral out of control. Yeah, completely. I get that. I love the fact that you said that it's important to understand what you are feeling.
Yes.
And so many people, adults, people that are even what we call elderly, go through life and they don't know how to self-regulate, because they don't even know what they're feeling. You make a major decision in your life based on something that you're feeling, but you're not even realizing that you're making this decision just out of excitement. And once the excitement wears off, and then you're like, actually, what was I doing? So you're in fitness, and I think fitness being part of your life, I feel like half of the battle is won in terms of you taking care of yourself. Because it's something you do naturally. You do it like 365, 247, 366, right? But what are the other things, activities or routines that you go through to keep yourself up? Because Motivation is also beauty.
Yes.
Paired with motivation.
Yes.
So that we can get this. Do you understand? You motivate, and then it's all also about taking care of yourself and being beautiful on that front. So what do you do outside of fitness that keeps Tshoolo being Tshoolo?
Yeah, Tshoolo is a very busy girl. Beauty for me is also taking care of my community. I know equally so, baby, you're talking about looking good, right?
Yes.
I think I spend a lot of time in the communities with AMA 2000 guys. I think for me, that is what you call like BBM, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like surgery.
Oh,
I want to go to surgery because those kids keep me alive.
They keep
I get
you
a sense of, and I get a sense of happiness whenever I'm out there.
Yeah.
We play netball together, we dance together, I get to learn dances. But like I said, it was very important for me to balance fitness with self-care. So I had to find time to switch off.
Yes.
Resting was one of the things that I was told I need to do.
Yes.
I was told I'm a superwoman with this, my psychologist. It's like, you are, you're becoming too superwoman.
Yes.
You need to rest and just take care of yourself. And she even said, you can even book yourself in hospital. I'm like, this woman. And just rest and people come and look at you, read a book.
Or not even have anyone come. You just like,
so
everybody stay away.
In my head, I was like, no. But what I do, I get a day off once a week. And I'm lucky to have this 3 days on and then 2 days off. There's days where I'm on my laptop but I'm on my gown,
Yes.
And that for me is part of self-care because I'm relaxing and just, taking care of myself.
I love that. And in terms of your family and like how they play a role in supporting you, in making sure that when you say don't come into my room, don't come in there. How are you finding that balance? Because I know with the little ones.
I don't have that. I lock myself in the car. So I don't have it.
So you park and lock.
Yes, and it's not like I plan it. I've picked up that sometimes I'm like, I don't want that noise. And I'll be stuck in the car, but they will come. Like they will see that the woman has been parked for like 30 minutes.
Yes.
Or like whichever time. And they'll come and knock. Even my husband will come and knock, like how?
Yes.
But that is like, the easing down and saying, I don't want the noise now. But I never lock myself. Like, my kids are always around you. Yeah.
Well, I suppose also the energy from the young ones revives you in a way, to a certain extent.
Well, sometimes the noise. Yesterday I was like,
I know what you mean.
Like,
sometimes it's like,
it's a lot now.
Please, get out.
It's a lot.
I know.
I had to chase one yesterday. Like, you're talking too much.
Yeah. And what is with kids and talking they talk.
Yeah.
Like, can you just keep quiet for a second? Yeah. So before we actually wrap up, we've got something special to give you. Okay. But before we get there, I want to ask, and this is a question I've been asking throughout, the interviews. When you look at the Tshoolo that you are now, and you look at the Tshoolo that you were as a girl, as a young person, or just coming up in your journey, would that Tshoolo look at this Tshoolo and say, yes, we did it. Yes. I built her.
Yeah, definitely. The 16-year-old version of Tshoolo, is really proud. I think for her,
yes,
it's more like, do you,
Yes.
Whether, there's always respect for others, right?
Yes.
But if you don't believe in whatever, I don't want to swear, but like, it's okay.
Yes.
We move. We don't have to be in the... You don't have to be in the cloud or associated with what do you call it? The viral.
Yes, the cloud.
Trends,
yes,
as long as you understand you. So I think she's very proud. The shyness, I don't know. And people when I say I was shy, they don't believe it.
Yeah,
I was very shy growing up.
So how did you overcome that?
I don't know. But I knew. Hence, I'm saying there were signs.
Yeah,
I knew I wanted stage. I knew I wanted the live. I knew it deep within me. I'll see someone and I'm like, this is me. There was a time my cousin, had a, like this beauty contest. Yeah. And I was still young.
Yes.
And I remember they went to change. And that time the stage was made with crate study beer.
Yes.
And I went on the stage and I just danced. I was dirty.
You
I
did not know
off,
what you were doing.
But
Yes.
I went on and I danced, and he was so mad at me.
Yeah.
But whenever I'm on stage, I think of that girl. I'm like, actually, that girl knew deep within
Yes.
her, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You
And I've
always know
said,
as a person.
always told my sister, I think when I was doing Mrs. Essay, I told my sister that my event, because we have to do one event as a Mrs. Essay queen.
Yes.
I said to her, I see myself on stage, people wearing white, you know, doing my fitness.
Yes.
And I'm like, I see stages.
Uh-huh.
And when I look at how many stages I've gotten from round stages to, you know, to different types, I'm like, no, this thing has always been there. From a crate of a beer,
Yes, yeah,
to all the round, whatever stage that you can think of. And yeah, I think
I love that you shared that story, because I always feel that as young people, not even young, as children, we are given, like, our souls go ahead before us.
Yeah.
Right? Where you find yourself doing something as a child. And when you actually analyze your life as an adult, you realize that, I was supposed to be, you know. I remember in grade 4 when I just performed or delivered this amazing unprepared speech. And my teacher was like, how did you even think of that? I was like, I don't know. So the point that I want to drive is that there should be something that your soul has always known you can do. But again, because of life, because of trauma, because of pain, because of things, we hold back and we start being afraid. And I really want you to draw inspiration from Tshoolo and many other guests to say that if you allow yourself, if you get over the fear, you don't know where your soul will lead you onto different stages, like she said.
round and square and
rectangle and everything.
I just need the juju's one way it's going to elevate me now.
It's coming. It's coming. I prophesy that it's coming. Tshoolo, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
This is from us.
Are we going to be doing the, what do you call it?
Yes, of course, you gotta.
Thank you.
It's from Ever's Beauty. That's your rose quartz guasha stone with our home crafted moringa oil. It's for the girlies that are not yet strong enough to go under the knife. You know, you can just simply lift up your skin so that you can tighten your muscles, take care of yourself, just pour into yourself. And before we actually do a final wrap, because I'm always saying we're wrapping up, then I come up with something because I like talking. To the person sitting at home, if you can speak to them, that's thinking, I'm from this background, I'm from that type of family, and I'm from this type of world, and there's no way I'll ever leave, or I don't see how I'll ever come out or elevate out of this. What would you say to them?
Your dreams don't need a conference call, right?
Yes.
Speak to God, allow Him to elevate you. But more than anything, resilience, persistence.
Yes.
And just keep going.
I love that. Your dreams don't need a conference call. It's not a group exercise. Just do it. Believe in yourself. Tshoolo, thank you so much. We wish you all the best. You've done amazing stuff. You know, I always tell you how proud I am of you, always supporting you when you're doing everything that you're doing, like the bunny that you are. Please follow this lady. She will make you get up, because from 5 until 5, she is doing something. This is Beaumovation, where beauty meets motivation. Again, I'm pretty confident that by the end of this episode, you would have found something, some principles, a strategy to go after your own greatness. Like I said at the beginning when I introduced the title, which is The Power of Identity, that you are going to see that the people that are on this chair are just like you and I, doing amazing things, leading corporations, living out their truth in their own way. You can also do it too. You don't need approval from anyone. Just believe in yourself. Thank you and subscribe.